Hello followers and welcome back to Mystic Worlds, and this is Safe Haven. And we are right where we left off at the end of the last episode. We're in the monument area here. And outside is a bunch of blazers. So I don't know as it would be in our best interest to go outside. I'm kind of in a bit of a predicament here as I don't really know what to do. I could dig up and try and make for the surface and get out that way. But other than that, I don't really have a lot of choice as to what I could actually do moving forward here. I do have some ladders on me, so I think that that would be our best bet. Now, if I come back when all the blazes are despawned, I don't want to remove the spawners because I could use them. And I at least need to get a couple of blaze rods before I break them, at the very, very least, because otherwise it's not going to be pleasant. Trying to get a hold of blaze rods for brewing further down the road, because I don't know where the next set of blaze spawners could actually be. So we are going to have to bear that in mind. And it's night time, which does not help. Let's see, what have we got going on here then? How are we doing with mobs? Not great. There's a couple. I'm going to mark this off with a cobble pillar so that we know where it is. And I think that our best bet at this point will be to try and head back to the base and kind of assess our situation a little bit. I don't really like that creeper being that close. Oof, that was too close for comfort. So I think that that would be the best thing to do from here, is to actually head back and kind of assess the situation a little bit. And then maybe assess our gear and see if we could take down those blaze spawners. But that is pretty challenging, to be honest with you, because we don't really have the gear designed for blazes yet. We don't have fire resistance. I have very little armor. So I'm fairly limited on what I can do at this point. We could go back there when I've got more gear, and that is definitely another alternative, to come back and try and go somewhere else in today's episode, now that we know where the monument is and we've got access to it. Oh boy. And I think actually that's probably the more likelier option, to actually go and investigate another place. We do still have to find that library, which is definitely something that I want to do. We have found the fallen metropolis now, and we have also found the monument, so the only place left to find is the library where we deposit the research notes. So let's head down into here and sleep, and then let's kind of assess our inventory a little bit and see what we have, and then maybe take a look at that library here. So what have we got? Got some mob drops here. We've got a bone apparently, some wood. We have a pretty decent amount of coal. That's charcoal right there. I think we're in pretty good shape here, to be honest. Maybe could use a little more food, so we'll go ahead and get that out. How are we doing on wood here? Wood we're not doing too great on, so I'll bring some wood with me. I'll make a couple more torches. Armor is not doing so hot either. We only have that 4 iron ore. Didn't I leave some in a chest? I think I left some in a chest. We may be able to get that back. I may empty that chest out from where the monument is and see what we have in total. That may be a good idea, I think. Okay, so looking at everything I've got, at the moment I'm not ready to tackle blazes, and to be honest with you, I'm not ready to tackle anywhere yet. We've got two big problems really. Lack of arrows, and I don't have an infinity bow, and food is not great. I would like more food. Now, the obvious solution to both of these is to build a skeleton trap of some sort. I don't have a whole lot of supplies at the moment, but what I do have access to is unlimited wood, and to a degree unlimited stone. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to build a small trap around that spawner that is near the entrance to the sort of cavern where the monument is, kind of separate from everything else. Now, a little bit of a jump cut right there. That's not everything I've been thinking about. I actually did begin to get some cows penned up here. And the reason I did that is I want to get a steady supply of leather going so that we can have at least basic armor a lot of the time. So we've got some cows in there. I've been harvesting the wheat farm, cut down all the trees. We're going to grow one of those big jungle trees and cut that down when it's ready. I collected a bunch of gravel up and some clay. Gravel mainly for flint. But I think it would be easier than to try and make a chicken farm to just make some form of grinder for skeletons. So we're going to head over to the fallen metropolis over here, and we're going to build a small trap, pretty much basically right next to the entrance here. And all the trap's going to be is it's going to be a big box where skeletons spawn, and I'm just going to beat them down with a shovel. Now, I could use water. I do have a bucket to kind of push them into an area. I could, I guess, thinking about it, build a small AFK trap out of it, because I have access to a bucket, so I can make a water-based design pretty easily. Don't really need it for the experience, as I don't have access to enchanting yet. We're leaving here some wood and some steps. So what are things looking like out here then, at the moment? There's the spider spawner. So where's the skelly spawner? Right here. So this is our spawner, so maybe building a small spawner trap out of this might be a good idea. There is a couple of spots around here where monsters can spawn, but it's nothing, you know, that I couldn't handle. We've got a couple of dark spots way over there, but I don't think we're going to have too much trouble from that. So why don't we look at building a small AFK trap out of this? So let's see, what directions are we at? I'm looking for the F here. So where's that on the screen? I see FL. Oh, there we go. Okay, F. So 1 and 2, we need to go 4 out from the spawner. So that will be this block right here. And 1, 2, 3, 4. So right there. So we're going to start and build a basic wall here first. And in the other directions, we're going to be going 3 away from the spawner. We'll get the sand out of the way right here. And I don't have much in the way of stone tools, so it's going to be pretty slow going building this thing, to be honest with you. But I do want the rates to be somewhat decent. And this is just going to be a small basic trap that I can AFK at to get bones and arrows, which gives me access to unlimited food. It also gives me access to unlimited arrows for my bow. And I'm not even going to need stone swords. I'm just going to use water and send them into a big drop. Basically, the water will flow, push them down here somewhere, and then they'll just go into a hole which is deep enough that they will die every time. And I'll just stand right next to it and I'll just pick up the loot while I'm AFK. Unfortunately, because we're not using version 1.5, we're not going to have access to hoppers or anything. I guess the one disadvantage with using the fall damage method is that I'm going to have to run it up and down every 5 minutes, and because otherwise I'm going to be too far away from the spawner to be able to do anything with it if I'm stood at the bottom. I mean, my choices here are relatively limited. I don't know a way that I could really fix that. I could use another method of death. I could drop them in, but that would turn it into an XP farm at that point. Just letting them build up and then having some sort of trap. I might as well make it into a, you know, an XP farm at that point. And we don't really have a huge craving for XP at the moment. It's more just the bones and arrows. And I'm going to keep it simple, I think. Just running up and down every 5 minutes is not a big deal. It will do the trick. So how are we doing here? 1, 2, 3. So the wall needs to be right here. This is where the wall needs to be. I'm just going to carve this out and mark it down so that I know. So skeletons can spawn, well, anything from a spawner can spawn at the spawner level, one above the spawner level, and one below. So this is where the roof is going to be, right here. So let's go ahead and put the roof on. Somewhat, at least. So there we go. We've kind of got the basic shape fleshed out now. Not going to worry too much about spiders for the moment, as they only drop string, and I don't really need string too much. It's just the... I already have the bow, it's just the arrows to actually be able to use it that's the problem going forward here. So let's knock this out and kind of clear some stone out of the way. And I'm probably going to dig a good portion of this off camera just to make it easier. But I wasn't expecting to be building a grinder this soon. Here we go. So we've kind of got that taken care of. So they can also spawn one below. Now we're going to be going two below. And that's just so that they can flow correctly. And in fact, I may even go three below. Just so that they don't catch their heads on this spawner block right here. Just for the speed of which we can make skeletons spawn. So and that's going to be the next thing. So I'm going to dig this out. And then we'll look at adding in some water. Oh ho ho, I underestimate you, mapmaker. Very good. You put bedrock underneath the spawner so I couldn't dig a proper trap, so I've had to kind of improvise a little bit. We're going to have to use the stone sword method. Basically, I've changed my trap design because of the bedrock here, and what's going to happen is skeletons are going to spawn, and they're going to see me in this area. They won't be able to shoot at me, because I'll get back, or I could put half slabs in, or whatever, if I find that there is a problem. And they'll walk to the front here, and I'm going to beat them down with a stone sword, and I'll be able to collect their loot, and I can put it in the chest here. So, not the ideal solution, but it's one that will work, and I will have to build a better trap at some point later. Just got to be mindful of the odd skelly now. Let's get back in here, and can I nick that? Yeah, there we go. So as you can see, these guys, you put a torch down, I can just beat the guys. Infighting could be a problem. It's not perfect, but it will do. And I can run in and collect the bones and arrows, and that's simply just going to have to do for right now. It's very dark in here, but it's the best I can do with the limitation of the bedrock. I could try and do something much more fancy, but it wouldn't be worth it, I don't feel. There we go, so we kind of get them huddled around here. One thing I could do to improve this a little bit, to kind of stop the infighting somewhat, is to actually add water and push them forward. I believe, at least. Let's just put some torches in here. I believe that if I put water in here, 3, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, this is as far as water will travel. So maybe that might be a good idea. Is there an enderman in here? There is. I keep seeing enderman. It must be raining on the surface, possibly. Yeah, there's a bunch around here. So let's make a quick infinite spring here. And let's try using water. Because we do have some water right out here, so it's not like we've got to go traipsing all over the place for it. There we go. I'll fill that back in. Alright, so we have an infinite spring here. And let's see what we can do with this. I'm gonna have to put water every other. We can't do the whole group into the middle thing. That would be great, but can't really do that in this situation. So we're gonna have to just do this instead. There we go. Oh, it does. Oh, yeah, it's probably because of this. Will that stop it? Yeah, it will. So this will push skeletons forward. So I can stand here then and beat them down that way, which is probably the better way of doing it. Did I put a torch on the back of the spawner? I did. I know I can get that one, so there we go. Also get my torches back now too. Alright, so let's see how this works. That's better. It would be better with something a little better than stone swords, but I don't have much of a choice on that front. I just have to run around and collect the loot. But it does give me bows, experience actually, bones and arrows. So it's not the ideal solution, but it is a solution nonetheless. And that kind of solves our problem. So I'm going to build up some gear here. And we'll see where to go from there. We may do something else today, or we may call it an episode here. We'll have to see. So I'm going to go and farm this for a bit, guys, and then I will be back. Okay, guys, so I've been farming this skeleton grinder for a while, and I have quite a few bones now, and I have a good supply of arrows, and I just ran into an iron-armored skeleton, and he dropped 2 pieces of iron armor. So we have enough for a chest plate, in the base, so I think we're in pretty good shape here actually to take on those blazers, because I think I have 13 pieces of iron, which would mean I have enough for a full set. Not too bothered about iron armor, iron weapons, just the armor is important really to be taking on blazers. So let's put some stuff away here. We don't need that bow. Let's eat some bread. I'm going to get some more food together before we make any moves. We've got a stack of bones here. We've got a good supply of arrows now, which is the main thing. So let's get on out of here. There's still that Enderman around, and there's another one over here. Let's see if I can get under a too high area here. Take that down. There we go. There we go. I wanted to try and snag these guys, being as they're around. There we go. Get him from around the corner. Nice, got an ender pearl. Great, that could be useful for a quick escape if we need to. So what do we got here? Not too much. I don't know what time of day it is, which could be a problem. But let's head back to base and kind of assess our situation once again. I have to keep assessing myself. Looks like it's daytime before making a move, but I think we're in a good position now to move forward here. I would like to try and get potatoes and carrots actually from zombies. That's one other little quest that I would like to fulfill. So what's the best way to get back to our base from here? I don't want to waste this ender pearl. Probably not through spawn, probably through this, I would have thought. Oh wait, we can climb the vines right here. That's it, and we can get up that way through using the vines. So that trap, it's okay. It could be a lot better, but I'm severely limited by the map maker putting bedrock there. He was intent on not making us farm those supplies early on, so we've just had to kind of work with that a little bit. So we move on. I will probably build a better skeleton trap at some point soon. My tree has grown. That's good. I'll cut that down soon. What do we got here? We've got some wheat. We do have 4 adult cows now, so let's collect our wheat here and obviously replant at the same time. But also we can breed up the cows now and get a steady supply of leather going. And leather armor is probably what I'm going to be wearing between dungeons, and I'll switch out and put my iron armor on if we get in a sticky situation. I can kind of use leather armor for wide open spaces and traveling places like we did in the last episode, but if I'm going to get up close and personal with mobs like blazers, I probably need to be wearing iron at least. And even then we're going to have to be careful because they could set us on fire and things like that. So let's breed up the cows here. Here we go. There we are. And we'll head back to base and sort out our supplies and see what we've got. I mean, the lava bucket isn't going to be too helpful, being as they are a nether-based mob, so they're not going to take that type of damage, which is disappointing. So we have 13 iron ingots. We have pants and boots that are not doing bad in terms of durability. Could be better. So I think I'm going to definitely make myself an iron chest plate. And we have 5 iron left, so we could make a helmet out of that, and I think I'm going to. So we have a full set of iron armor now to take on the blazers down there. Let's see how much of that we're going to get. 18 bread, that should be plenty to accomplish that task. I'm going to do a bunch of farming of supplies off camera between this and the next episode. Sand we don't need. Dirt we don't really need, nor do we need wood particularly. Seeds we can put away. Got a good amount of cobblestone now. What I want to do with these blaze spawners is just shut them down for the time being by putting blocks in every place that they can spawn over doing anything else. I will need to get that filled up again. The lava bucket is not going to be too useful to me, so I'm going to put that away. Dirt, not really going to be too useful. Ladders maybe might be useful. So what else do I really need here? I am going to bring some wood, as I bring wood everywhere I go, just in case. I don't really want to use those particularly. Swords, could probably use another sword. And another pickaxe. I'm not really going to be using my axe down there, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. So let's make another sword. And we also want to make another pickaxe. There we go. And get some sticks here. Let's make another pickaxe. And that should be plenty. Got enough blocks, I would have thought, to deal with that. So what time is it now? Is it still daytime? So if we can get over to where those blazes are, then we'll be all set, I would have thought. So let's see here. I'm going to have to be quick about it though, otherwise they'll start to spawn and become a problem. I don't mind having a slow blaze farm. I'm going to take everything out all but one. I'm going to leave one blaze spawner. Everything else can go. And the reason for doing that is it's just so early game. I can't imagine that they're the only blazes in the map. If they are, then that's my mistake. This is a bit risky. There we go. Now I'm down here, but I can climb using the vines. But I'm going to keep one spawner and the rest I'm going to get rid of, simply because we don't really need them right now. Blazes are a good source of XP, but so is a dual skeleton farm, and I think they'll make about the same, roughly, so I'm not too worried about that, at least. And then I think next episode we will actually take a look at that library, which is what I was initially going to do this episode, but we kind of took a little detour to that mission. But next episode we will examine the library. I think it's that thing right there on the other side of the forest there is what the library is. And once we've nailed that down, I think it's time to really start heading out and exploring the lands and seeing what we've got to deal with here. So this is the pillar with the ladder well. And I'm going to reload the chunks here because we weren't seeing everything. So let me switch out this for that. Let's get downstairs first. Now, is there going to be anything outside the door? Doesn't look like it. That was shut down. That we got rid of. What one is this? That's Blaze. Yeah, and this is the other one. Okay, so go out 4 in every direction from the spawner. Now, they will only spawn in this layer right here. There's one. Already. Ah. There we go. Oops. So we've got to be quick about this. Really got to be quick. So hard to see while on fire too, which doesn't help. So we got 4 that way, cover the spawner. Shouldn't be many spots that they could spawn in now. Just over there. Dang it. Hit me every time. Well, let's just be thankful we've only had to deal with one on each spawn wave thus far. Dealing with 4 of those things would just be way too much. That's just fire. Right, I think we've got it shut down. There's no other spawners. I think we got it shut down. Which is what I wanted, so we'll have to watch it for a little bit just to make sure that nothing does spawn. Where even is the spawner? Oh yeah, straight away, so definitely we've got it covered now. There we go. So now what we need to do in order to farm this is do something a little bit like that. There's the spawner right here, that's the spawner one. There you go. Real cheap, dirty farm, but it works. So, we've also got a block to hide behind. So that's the spawner, 4 that way, 4 that way, 4 that way, so we're all set. And 4 that way, so yeah, we have shut the spawner down. And we have a blaze rod now, so I can make a brewing stand. And I don't know if I could brew any potions yet, because I don't have access to nether wart. So I'm going to need to find nether wart before brewing any potions. But at least we got that took down. And we've kind of secured the monument area here a little bit, somewhat. But I think we're in pretty good shape here now. We've got that taken care of. We've built a basic skeleton trap. We've got 40 levels to spend at some point whenever we get access to enchanting, which I imagine is going to be a while. But I think we've reached a good marker for the episode right here, guys. I hope that you've enjoyed today's episode, and I hope to see you next time. And I think next time we will go and try and see what that building is. I presume it's the library, and I think we'll take a look at that next episode. So until next episode, guys, see you later, and have a good day.